I've been playing way too much Genshin Impact, and with the release of Zhongli and Xinyan, I finally blew my stash of Primogems, around 20,000 in total, plus some of the intertwined fates you get from the adventure ranks and the battle pass. Today I want to chat and share what I've managed to get from the banner, and also talk about some first impressions of the characters, plus I have a little something I want to share at the end with you guys. There will be many tangents, but if you want to know what I've been doing in Genshin Impact so far, well, here it is. So first off, when I started Genshin at a launch, I summoned like everyone else and managed to get myself Qiqi as my only 5-star character, and rode through the entire main story with her, plus a Constellation 1 Chongyun and Constellation 1 Fischl. I decided to make my boy Big Chongus my main DPS unit, and personally he's been very serviceable, and I just feel like he has the most fluid playstyle between his auto attacks and skills. Other units I used were of course Barbara and Jiangling, the Animal Traveler, and then occasionally using Amber, especially for the Spiral Abyss. I've managed to clear up to floor 8 and can do some of floor 9, but my guys are very underleveled, mainly because I've been waiting for Mr. Zhongli. Between seeing some links of his super sick Spear Kick basic attack animation, his amazing Meteor Elemental Burst, and his silky smooth English voiceover, I knew Zhongli was who I had to get. Spinning spears are definitely my weakness. Thanks to the way the pity system works in Genshin, since I got Qiqi and did not get Venti, who was the featured 5-star at the time, I knew that my next 5-star would be Zhongli if I waited, and for almost 2 months I saved up my Primogems. I do spend money on gacha games, but with how insanely low Genshin's rates are, I really wasn't tempted to spend any more than buying the monthly Blessing of the Woken Moon card, which is basically 3,000 Primogems spread over the month. I also buy the Battle Pass, which isn't really about cosmetics or extra summons, but the value in materials for upgrades is worth it to me, at least, and the crit rate weapons are pretty fun for someone like me who ain't getting any of those powerful 5-star weapons. Really, the only way I would spend a lot of money in the short term would be if there was a Diluc banner, but let's be honest, the day that happens, oof. This Zhongli banner was basically a dream banner for me personally. Not only could I get the CEO of GEO himself, but the featured 4 stars were 3 Claymore users, and I freaking love the Claymore weapons in this game. Xinyan, who is also new, was basically my chance to get a poor man's Diluc, aka a Pyro Claymore user. There was also Razor, who I don't have, but he is a beast of a 4-star unit, and well, let's just say I know what the guy can do. Last, there was Chongyun, and I really wanted to get Chongyun's second constellation since it grants 15% cooldown reduction to skills when you use them in his frost field. Overall, I managed to get pretty dang lucky while chasing for Zhongli. I've got 7 Xingyans, which means I have her max constellation 6, which unlocks an interesting charge attack playstyle, I think. I then got 3 Chongyuns, which puts mine at constellation 4, already a big win for me. Then I managed to get 4 Razors, which also puts him at Constellation 3, and while I don't have the resources to put into him just yet, well, I'm obviously satisfied with that. While I did get my guaranteed Zhongli early thanks to the pity system, I really wanted to get Razor and my Chongyun dupes, so I kept summoning and it paid off pretty big. While trying to get more Claymore Crew copies, I managed to get Keqing, and I love flashy characters like her. Very fun character, and if you guys know me, I love the GBA Fire Emblem critical animations, and Keqing's burst is right up there with the Swordmaster crit animations, and of course Lin's crits as well. Now at this point, I still had 14,000 Primogems, and I could have saved up for the next new character I wanted. However, I had enough for another 90 rows, which means I could get another Zhongli, and I said screw it, let's just do it. I was still fishing for more Xinyan, Chongyun, and Razor copies, so I felt it was worth it. Like I said, this was the perfect banner for me personally. Besides getting a second Zhongli and the other duplicates I mentioned earlier, I also got some 4-star weapons. I got the Sacrificial Bow and Catalyst weapons, plus I also got the Widsit Catalyst, which has a crit damage substat, and it grants random effects when the user takes the field. I also got the Eye of Perception, which has an attack percent substat, and it seems like a Catalyst version of the prototype Claymore you can forge, since it grants an extra bit of damage every 12 seconds, and this one can bounce between enemies, which sounds pretty neat. Even though I did use Lisa in the beta and actually started to like using her once I had better gear, I sort of replaced her role with Fischl for the actual launch of the game, and I really don't use the Mage Catalyst characters a ton. I would appreciate it if any of you guys had any input on these weapons, because they both sound pretty nice for DPS Catalyst builds, but I just have no clue how or who to use it with. Alrighty, so that's what about 20,000 Primogems plus maybe 10 free summons got me from this banner. Personally pretty happy, especially with that surprise Keqing and the Constellation 6 Xinyan. I had already prepped materials for Zhongli, and so I do have him at level 80 and got his talents leveled up too. I was preparing to level up my Zhongli and Fischl, but since I got Xinyan and Keqing, well, I wanted to test run them out too, so they are both level 60. Emerald level 6, so these two are feeling a bit behind, but honestly it's fine and can't be helped really. Regardless, I wanted to share my first impressions of these three with you guys and wanted to talk about my Zhongli build I'm trying to put together. Now, everyone's saying he's not great, and I can understand those arguments, but I really like Genshin because outside the Spiral Abyss, which is a heavy stat check in itself, you can pretty much find success with any character, and some work well in a variety of roles, which is neat. For Zhongli, if you do want to do a physical DPS role, then the Retracing Bowlight 4-piece set seemed like a good option since it not only boosts his shield strength, but he gets more damage on normal and charge attacks when shielded, and for Zhongli, that's pretty much all the time. With his elemental skill, the Geo Pillar pulses every 2 seconds and will create a ridiculous amount of crystallized shields to pick up. With Constellation 1, my Zhongli can have 2 stone pillars out at once, and this is quite nice. The hold function of the skill makes a shield based on Zhongli's max HP, and this can easily be passed along to an ally to let them face tank attacks. I honestly think a max HP stacking build is viable if you want to use Zhongli as a support unit who just passes his Jade Shield to your main DPS carries. His Elemental Burst does scale with HP as well thanks to his second passive talent, so I do feel like building HP is intended for Zhongli in general. Speaking of which, Zhongli's Elemental Burst is just a ton of fun. He drops a giant meteor from the sky while looking like a badass, and it petrifies enemies while also doing a ton of damage. For my build, I'm trying to do a hybrid support build with some extra damage thanks to the short cooldown and energy cost of the burst. I'm pretty sure it's not optimal at all, but I can't get enough of dropping giant meteors that crit. I've decided to try a 2-piece Noblesse set for the extra plus 20% elemental burst damage, and a 2-piece Archaic Petra set for the plus 15% geo damage. For the main stats, I'm trying 1 HP percent to get better shields, 1 geo damage percent for obvious reasons, and then a crit damage hat. The reason I'm taking crit damage instead of crit rate is because I have the deathmatch polearm from the battle pass, which has a very high crit rate substat. I only have it at Ascension 3 level 60 and my artifacts are only around plus 12 and not optimized at all, but at this moment I can get to 43% crit rate and 103% crit damage, which basically means critical hits do double damage. I also have 67% extra geo damage thanks to the artifact, the Archaic Petra set, and then Zhongli's hidden bonus stat on Ascension level ups. Even with an awful total base attack stat and far from complete artifacts, the meteor hits for around 10,000 damage, and if it crits, it's a little more than 20k. Very satisfying overall, and the low cooldown energy means it comes up pretty frequently even if Zhongli isn't generating a ton of geo energy particles. It's a shame Geo can't react with other elements for more damage, and the usage of shields is kinda wonky in Genshin at the moment, but I'm still having fun with Zhongli, and that's the important part for me. I can't stop smiling when the meteor just deletes something instantly. Also, someone figured out that if you do Zhongli's full basic attack chain, you can then use his pillar immediately after to hit weaker enemies into the sky, and it's just pure style points. People can say the Lord of Geo may not be the best unit in the game, but Zhongli sure knows how to do things in style. Now I want to talk about Keqing and Xinyan, though I haven't played with them as much. They are both level 60 Ascension 3, so I don't have their second passive talents just yet. She's a Pyro Claymore user, and as a 4-star, she most certainly won't be replacing Diluc. Xinyan's main elemental skill swings her guitar, and if it hits a certain number of enemies, she generates a shield that scales with defense. With her first passive talent, if she hits 2 targets, her shield will generate pyro damage every couple of seconds, and it's a stronger shield than if she only hits 1 enemy. For her elemental burst, Xinyan actually deals a big burst of physical damage and then a pyro dot afterwards. Very fun burst, it's certainly fitting for a rock star. Now for Xinyan's second passive, it says characters shielded by her elemental skill deal 15% increased physical damage. That's kinda interesting to maybe pass along to a physical damage carry. Overall, Xinyan is kind of a weird unit. Her shield scales off of defense, her burst deals mainly physical damage, and then she can get more physical damage with the shield active. Plus, her hidden level up ascension stat is plus attack percent. I feel like she's supposed to be a physical damage carry, but I'm not sure if that's her best role. Since I have her full constellation, I really need to test her out more, but things get even stranger with those extra perks. For the first one, critical hits improve normal and charge attack speed by 12%. Second constellation, her ult always crits on the physical damage part and gives her a max level shield, so that's really good actually. Her fourth constellation makes her skill decrease enemy physical damage resistance by 15%. Then her last 6th constellation decreases charge attack stamina uses by 30% and charge attacks gain bonus attack equal to 50% of her defense stat. Maybe with Constellation 6, Xinyan is supposed to spin to win. At the moment, the one thing I can definitely say I don't like about her kit is that her skill cannot generate the max level shield on bosses. You need to hit at least 2 enemies, and guess what? Every major boss is just one object. I'm not sure if you need a max level shield for the pyro damage dot if you go for a full physical damage build, but it kinda just feels bad if I'm being honest. Regardless, while everyone is debating how to use Zhongli, Xinyan is just as confusing to me in terms of roles. I don't think she wants a defense stacking build, and I actually think the Retracing Bowlight 4-piece set could be a good artifact set for her, especially with Constellation 6. I'm sure Gladiators will also work fine. She is a character I definitely need to play with more. Last, I don't think I need to talk about Keqing much. She's a very flashy electro sword character and her basic attack chain is definitely satisfying. I didn't know her level up ascension stat was crit damage, so color me surprised when I already had the black sword from the battle pass. Seems like a crit rate weapon with some crit damage artifacts would be a lot of fun. I only tested Keqing with a standard gladiator set because that's just what I had lying around, and I already liked how she plays. The Electro Stiletto seems to offer a lot of combative options thanks to the blink on reactivation or the ability to detonate it with a charge attack. Speaking of which, I haven't played around with charge attacks much on sword units, but I remember seeing something about Keqing using a lot of charge attacks in her playstyle. I assume one usage is just throwing the stiletto point blank and then using a charge attack to basically do a nice burst combo. I would appreciate any tips if you guys have been using Keqing. Also, looking for artifact suggestions because from a basic search, it seems like an electro damage focus build with the 2-piece Thundering Fury set and an electro damage cup would be nice. I'm also curious if the Lion's Roar 4-star sword is better than the black sword because it's just more damage against electro affected enemies, and Keqing can convert her attacks to electro damage with her main skill. At the moment, I'm leaning more toward the black sword just because of the inherent crit stat. Overall, I really like how she plays. The blink of the stiletto is very fun and it's on such a short cooldown as well. I also love her burst because it only costs 40 energy, and I'm a big fan of these low cooldown, low energy burst skills since they keep the flow of combat pretty snappy and you can iframe through big attacks very often. I do already have Fischl and Beto for electro damage, but the three of them play so differently, and having that variety is what I love about Genshin Impact's combat. On the topic of variety, last thing I want to share with you guys, which I have not talked about before, is that I may have been playing on a second account, and said second account may have treated me pretty well so far. I said at the start that I've been playing too much Genshin Impact, and that is one of the main reasons why. I'm not someone who plays the same game multiple times very often, so when I do, it's because I really love the gameplay. Playing through Genshin Impact with different characters is so damn refreshing, and it's a real shame you have to brave the gacha for new characters. That doesn't even consider the cost of leveling a new character up, and if you've been playing this game, you know how much materials it requires just to have a decent core of main units. I haven't been farming a ton on this account, and it really shows when I need to ascend or upgrade characters or artifacts, but just by mostly keeping up to date with dailies, even this account is already past adventure rank 40. It was also a nice excuse to actually summon while I was saving for Zhongli, and I'll be honest, I've been super lucky on this account. I think I managed to get Mona and Jean, who are both new 5 stars for me, and I also managed to get every 4-star character in the game except for Bennett, who is apparently a godly support character. I was trying to get Childe, but luck wasn't on my side that much, and now I've expended mostly all of the free Primogems in the game. I guess it's going to be a long time before I can summon again on this account. That's just fine though, because like I said, I've been able to play the game with a brand new cast of characters and understand how more characters work. My main team consists of Razor as my main DPS carry with the standard gliders 4-piece. Xingqiu has the 4-piece Noblesse set to boost the damage of his ult, and I use his rain swords on top of Razor's ult for maximum carnage. I then have Ningguang as a secondary range DPS option, and I love her bursty playstyle. Trying to get her the 2-piece Noblesse set for extra burst damage, plus the 2-piece arcade set for extra geo damage. Last, I've settled on Jean, who I mainly use for healing via her burst, but I want to get her the Viridescent Venera animal set because that thing is busted. I also like using her to cheese stuff by launching them into the air or into water, and in the overworld, Jean is just really fun to mess around with. Now, I haven't been using Mona because while I know she's insane for burst damage, in the early game she just didn't feel that great to me personally. I much preferred using Xingqiu because his burst works so dang well with Razor. I really wish I had Xingqiu for my main account to pair with Chongyun because I think that freeze plus shatter combo would be a ton of fun. Now, eventually, I hope to keep progressing this account because I do want to understand other characters better. It's also just a great change of pace from my usual teams, but in terms of farming, I'm so far behind, it's kind of bad. I wouldn't exactly recommend making a second account, but if you do or have already done so, then be aware that if you don't keep up with farming, then your world level will outpace the level of your characters and things get a lot harder. Like with any normal account, you really want to focus on a set of core units just to progress through the main content. I've gone Razor as my main focus, and good lord, I understand why he's rated so highly. I also recently lucked into a 5-star crit rate Gladiator's helm plus a physical damage cup, and my god, the dude is insane. It's actually disgusting, and I can safely parrot what everyone's been saying about him since forever. That's all I got for now. If you're still here, thanks for listening to my ramblings, and feel free to share your progress in Genshin Impact in the comments. I haven't been able to make a lot of videos recently, but I want to fix that. Many times I have a video idea and not execute on it or stop working on it part ways, but it's nice to just put my thoughts onto virtual paper to share with you guys. Thanks for watching, good luck if you are summoning for Zhongli or anyone else, and I'll see you guys in the next video.